the question Palendrome Linked List. This question is a good intro to the data structure known as linked lists. This question is often asked in interviews to make sure that you're familiar with basic data structures. So the problem is, given the head of a singly linked list, return true if it's a palindrome. And a palindrome is basically something that looks like if you were to, it looks the same on both sides, kind of. So, for example, a palindrome could look like this, where 1 1 and then 1 1, so that's the same. Palindrome could also be just a single element. It could be potentially 2 elements, or it could be 3 elements, or anything like that. So you want to check if this linked list that we're given is a palindrome. And a linked list is somewhat similar to an array, but it's different at the same time, because you can't access elements like just the middle of a linked list like you can in an array. You have to move through the array sequentially if it's a singly linked list, which in this case it is. So I'll just copy and paste the problem description that you get off LeetCode, just so you have a reference. Okay. Given the head of a singly linked list, return true if it's a palindrome. Okay, so I'll start writing out my solution. So first thing I'm going to do, I just make an empty array, because my plan is to turn this linked list into an array and just work with that. So in order to turn it into an array, I need to make a while loop and iterate through the linked list. So we start from the head that we're given, that's the first element of the array, or of the linked list, and then I push the value of the head into the array that we just made. And then I set head to be the next element. Excuse me. And this while it checks if head exists. If we get to the end of the array, past the end of the array, head will be null and it will break out of the while loop. So next, I want to check for some conditionals just to be sure that the next part I'm going to do works. So first we check if it's a length of 1, like this, then it's a palindrome. The next conditional, this is an OR. We check if the length is 2 and the first element, or the 0th index, is equal to the first index, like this. Check if that's true. Okay, and then for the last conditional that we check, another OR statement, we check that its length is 3 and that the first element is equal to the third element. So it would be similar to this. So these 3 conditionals are checking if it's any of these. And then if that's true, we return true. Okay, for the next part, I'm going to just say let I equals 0. This will be a counter variable. I'm just going to paste in the rest of my solution. Just get the, Try to get the indentation right. Okay, okay, that looks fine. All right, so what I'm doing in this while loop is splitting my array in half, or I'm only going to iterate through half of my array. Okay, and then I have a conditional statement that looks at the index or at the first element of the array and compares that to the last element. Just ignore this console log. And then, so this is seen if they are not equal. So it's basically checking if this element is equal to this element. And then it will keep on moving inwards if this was a longer list. Yeah, so then it would check this element with this element. Yeah, and then if any of those are not equal, it'll return false. Otherwise, it increments I, so it would move on to the next element. And then if none of those conditions are met, or if none of the elements are not equal, then it will return true. So this is, yeah, that's a solution. Thanks for watching.